And we are back, folks, here on the Michigan Insider Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. Sam Webb, Mr. Ira Weintraub on the other side, and it is that time. The man is in the building. Yes. Our Monday morning quarterback, brought to you by our friends at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, and they were inside the Joe's Garage this weekend, weren't they, Mr. Weintraub?
They sure was great to see our friends down there in the Eric, Caroline. They had a whole crew rolling with them. They rolled deep. It was fun.
Yeah, so it is always a great time to get up to GTR. Devin, as you know, you were there for Wolverine weekend.
Woo, the massages go crazy. Oh my goodness. I love GTR.
Yeah, and we love GTR as well. And you all should love GTR too. Not just because they're a Northern Michigan oasis, but because they are responsible for bringing you the Monday morning quarterback on a weekly
raise the roof
basis.
Hey, everybody at home, raise the roof with me. I'm currently raising the roof. Raise the roof for GTR and Monday morning quarterback.
Devin,
I wonder did people do it in their cars or at home? You think they did? How committed are you?
Hey, Dev, just if you're raising your roof while you're driving, one hand at a time.
Yeah, one hand at a time. Don't do both. But how committed are you to Monday morning quarterback? Did you raise the roof? That's a real question, but go ahead.
Yeah, people are very committed to Monday morning quarterback because they want to hear you break down these games, to break down quarterback play. And it is my assessment as we dive in, because I want to actually get to the questions this week, Devin, because you were on a rant last week. You were on a rant.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to do this time.
Yeah, I'll be sure not to ask you about Michigan State, because then it'd be rant all over again. Right?
They already in these comments acting crazy. Michael Beard, would you just relax, okay? It's too early to be doing that.
Right. So
it's $80 million on the line.
I said that as quarterback play goes, there is no higher level quarterbacking going on in college football right now than what we see JJ McCarthy displaying right now. It is time for Devin's Appraisal, brought to you by our friend Mark Orr. Mark Orr at Lake Michigan Credit Union. Mark Orr, mortgage loan officer, Lake Michigan Credit Union, specializes in assisting healthcare and educational professionals. You can contact Mark at Mark Orr, that's MARKORR, at LMCU.org.
It's mark.org. Is that the old copy? It's mark.org.
Yes. Okay.
I'll get you the fresh copy. Mark.org at LMCU. Mark.org at LMCU.org.
So MARK.ORR.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
LMCU.org. Did my mortgage. You can do yours, especially if you're a doctor here in the community, here at over the University of Michigan. Do have special loans. Their loan portfolio is immense. So plenty of opportunity for you to take advantage of the great offerings that Mark Orr has when it comes to mortgages with LMCU. All right. So Devin, your appraisal of the game.
I think it was a really good game. And I agree with what you said. JJ's playing really, really high level football from the neck up. Obviously, physically, he's doing a good thing. And the really cool thing that I saw, he had a friend that died, and then he's got 47 on his hand. The broadcast goes over it. He throws a 47-yard touchdown. I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah, you can't script that.
You can't do that, because then people probably think, oh, they did. No, like the broadcast has no idea he's about to throw a 47-yard touchdown. I don't even think they noticed that they were like 47 yards away from the touchdown. It just happened to, and obviously because I'm on TV, I know it just happened in Florida. Oh, we got a kind of a dead spot. We can do it right here. We got a good shot of his hand. And then he throws a 47-yard touchdown. Like, he can't hear the broadcast.
Right.
That's wild.
It is.
That is wild.
Yeah,
that's goosebumps. Like, is this the special season that, there's been a couple of special seasons, but obviously we didn't finish the job the last 2 seasons at the top game. But that is something really amazing to see. And I don't know. I don't even know what to say. But as far as the football team, they have done what they were supposed to do in the 2 games they played. Obviously, got another, I guess you could call it a cupcake. It's kind of like a game where you like Michigan's getting their preseason games. I think Michigan's getting their preseason games, but like real preseason games of live action before they have to really get into the meat of that Big Ten schedule. I think that JJ is playing really like they're. I don't think there's anybody playing better. Now, obviously, the stats and all that different stuff, you're not going to. He can't compete with some of the Shedeur Sanders and the guy at USC, Caleb Williams. But as far as like quality of play, like watching them play, there's nobody playing better. But it's people right up there with him. Shedeur Sanders and Caleb Williams are playing really, really good.
So we talked about it on Steady Dropping Dimes. Be sure to check us out. It's Devin, Daniel Horton, and I Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock. I'll send out a reminder about that. But we talked about, just a brief tangent, Matt Rule was going to get some act right.
Oh, you was going to get some act right, Matt Rule.
Matt Rule was going to get some act right.
I said it. I was very clear. You do not get to talk crazy about somebody's dad when he got game like that. Y'all better stop talking about Deion, because guess what? Deion can't do nothing, but obviously his son can, and he is taking it personal.
He has something to say
just
about
shut it up.
See, Deion was real diplomatic about it. He was like, "Oh, Matt Rule's a great coach, and I like what he did to Baylor." But as soon as the son got the press conference, he was talking slick about my dad.
About my daddy. All right, now y'all better quit playing with him. He love his daddy.
Told you.
Y'all letting the Instagram videos of how they make fun of him and all that and talk junk. Don't let that fool you. He loves his father. So you should probably just tone it down so you can get the worst of him and not keep getting the best of him.
Hey, if you talk like that, just one more thing. If you talk like that, ain't you supposed to be that guy? Like, you're supposed to know. Like, you got that squad. Or at least you're supposed to know they suck. You don't walk out there
talking crazy.
And not saying his team is bums, but that they play like bums. You can't talk like that.
I mean, walk like a bum, play like a bum. I mean, what do you mean? I'm sorry. They didn't play. And he talked about how in a press conference that his team is not playing up the part. I can understand that, right? Where there's something there and it's just, ball's not bouncing their way. But he was talking crazy. He can't do that. You got to come in a little more humble. And I think because I think Deion is forcing people to do that because he talking so crazy. But then he backed it up though, and he been doing it his whole life. He
wasn't talking about Nebraska.
He was talking about his own thing. Yeah. And that's where I think people get confused. Everybody looks at him as like, oh, he's arrogant, all this. But all he's talking about is what he knows about his team that he's watched, right? I mean, we don't know, and obviously he was 100% right. But for other teams, you're taking that arrogant stance and talking about other people. And when you look back, Deion don't talk about other people.
Hey, you should have been like Harbaugh.
Talk about himself.
You see what Jim said? He said, man, Deion, what Deion's doing is great. That's outstanding. You see his son's a baller. That's what Harbaugh did. The rest of these dudes talking all out of anyway. So let's get back to Michigan.
I got you.
A lot of talk about it. No, you don't focus as much on the run game, right? But it seemed to me that Sharon, in coming back, he had a real objective. We're gonna work on this perimeter run game. So getting back to JJ, pulls it on that zone read, hits that corner, just show it to him a little bit right there.
I don't like it.
Why not?
I want him to jump over him and score.
You want him to jump?
I want him, and not jump high, but he dove at his leg. I want him to lift that left leg up, jump over her, a little small hurdle, not a big one, a small hurdle, and get in the end zone. I want perfection. I want perfection, JJ. You playing too good. I don't want you getting tackled at that yard line. Get your butt over him and get in the end zone. I don't want to hear it, Sam. JJ, and if you're probably not listening to this, but somebody relay a message. Get your butt in that end zone on that run. But it was outstanding.
I say this with all due respect.
Run.
I love you. Brother, I want my quarterback having two legs out there.
I
know Devin did it with one leg. And I know you did it.
You did do it with
one leg.
It was tough. It was very tough. I wish I had both. I agree with you. I wish I had both. So if I had both, we'd be having a different conversation.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it'd be different.
But in all seriousness, man, it was outstanding because you don't have to hammer that home all the time. Like, you don't got to be Nebraska Jeff Sims. He got to run outside zone with the quarterback all the time. Like, they don't have other options. But when you sprinkle that in, not only does it open up the other runners on the field, right? Because it's like, man, as soon as he snatches his hands out and sprint without the ball, we have to react to that. There's no way we can allow him to hit the corner. So we got to react to it or freeze. And what it does is, I did this in my game with a couple guys. It was more of a tight end where he's drawing the attention and is creating what I call winner blocks, right? So when JJ snatches his hands out without the ball and runs the opposite way, even if the linebacker doesn't chase him, right? As long as the linebacker stands still, it allows those deuce blocks, right? The deuce blocks with the double to the second level, they allow those blocks to have great angles and create winner blocks. So the lineman, all he has to do is get to the second level and stand there in the way. He doesn't even necessarily have to block him. Obviously, our guys will block him. So I think that the weapon that he can be in the run game without even having the ball, right? That's great early in the season. You show, I know he's throwing the ball nice. I know he's running around doing his deal, running to throw, but the legs are still very healthy. So you guys better watch out, right? And I love that as soon as Sharon Moore came back, you put that on display.
Yeah, man. It was part of an objective.
Mm.
You come out of week 1, you see how TCU or ECU played you like TCU. UNLV is another
It was so
team.
confusing though that everybody was so upset. ECU's not a bad team, first of all. Secondly, if it don't matter who you playing, if you got a lot of guys in the box, you can't run the ball. I mean, that's just what it is. Like, these are humans, like men that lift weights and all that kind of stuff. Transfer portal, they probably came from a good school. They come into this school. You know what I mean? Like, if you got too many guys in the box, you just can't run the ball. And then you pass the ball.
Always put it. You can't always run it right at them.
Yeah,
and so that's
why
you
can make different.
Yeah, that's why he was like, you can see they have 4 outside runs on the first drive, and so you hang around coaches long enough, you kind of get to know how they think. It was predictable coming off the ECU game. They're gonna work that. So he comes in this game, he works that. You see outside zone doing better. You see JJ hitting the corner. They go a reverse with CJ. That hits right. They're doing different things to get to the perimeter. People don't notice as much when there are additions to the run game, and they work that. But there were some additions to the pass game too. They threw a few option routes in there in this game. They're just sprinkling it in there.
I just don't understand how we get so up in arms when we know how intricate and complex our run game is. This is the 3rd year, but for 2 straight years, the run game has been as complicated for the other side to deal with, and it's intricate and different than we've ever seen. Like, we've had so much variety in the way that we run the ball. And then here we come to the 3rd year where we got the best football team we probably ever had, 2 great running backs, a great running quarterback, and all these different things. And everybody's like losing their minds because we didn't show a whole bunch in the first couple games. It just seems super, I don't know, arrogant. It seems arrogant and kind of spoiled and just weird a little bit. But that's why they come here to Monday Morning Quarterback to get, off the ledge, like, step back off that. It's all right, man. I think they'll be fine. And I think you're exactly right. Sprinkling it in here and there in the passing game. And like I said, okay, elementary concepts with graduate level execution. And so I saw like comments and stuff on the internet saying like, whoa, they're going to need more at, when they play in the playoff and different things like that. First of all, the playoffs is very far away. That's the first thing. Secondly, when you watch really, really amazing teams, let's take the Kansas City Chiefs, for example, with all that hoopla and that pre-snap window dress and all that stuff, they are so simple in their concepts. And not only that, they recycle the same concepts over and over and over again, but just from different looks. And it's like, man, that's new. No, it's not. We ran this already. And it's not super complicated, but it looks complicated to the defense because of the way that we're presenting it. And that's what Michigan is capable of doing, right? Get in different looks. You see all the pre-snap motion and the motion after or the shifts and different things like that to get into these simplified concepts. Why make football complicated? When you got really good players, a good decision maker at quarterback, why make football complicated? I just love what they're doing and allowing the offense to work in this simplified style and just play fast and better than everybody else.
Is Joe Simon listening to this? So
Joe Simon?
So Joe, that's the law offices of Joseph A. Simon.
Okay.
He comes on, he does his football breakdowns, and he used one of your quotes.
Of course.
What did you say? Elementary concepts of graduate level execution.
Yes.
You were complimenting him on it. It's like, man, you hear that?
That's so impressive.
Well, you said, we need to get more complexity in there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Why?
so I'd say that's going to come gradually. So I know you don't like to get inside intel for our breakdowns, right? And we always just come off the cuff and analyze the film. I like to check my work. I like to ask around.
Well, you're a coward, so yes, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I just like to be right.
Of course.
That doesn't change what we say or do.
Of course.
For instance, when we were talking about the run game, they're going to work the perimeter run game against UNLV. That was not inside intel. That was just using some deductive reasoning from watching them.
You're very smart
in the game, right? This is inside intel.
Okay. Still
holding some stuff back. Still holding some stuff close to the vest till Big Ten season. More to come. Now, first of all, that's easy to see.
Like, wait.
That's easy to see.
I'm confused at how people are so confused. Like,
and one thing that I've been talking about that I think is one of the things, you tell me if you agree with this, that they're kind of holding back for later in the season. With as well as JJ is playing, high-level quarterback and making the right decisions all the time, giving him more pre-snap menu. He is on fire. We haven't seen a single RPO. And we know he can do it. We saw him do it last year.
Yeah, but remember last year I told you, you don't need to do it.
Yeah, right. You know they got to be good at it.
Like from the beginning, he was always good at that. Like we saw him. I go back to the Hawaii game with me and Borges was arguing and all these different things. Like we know for a fact he can get down with the RPO. That's his thing. And then not to mention, we haven't even seen him getting that RPO and then take off and run and then throw. Right? It just levels to this thing. Okay, he has that in his bag. So why are we hammering that when we could be hammering this simplicity of just football? Just play good football, and can we execute at a high level playing this simple football? And they're doing a very good job of it.
Yeah, they want to work that run game for sure. Play action passing game. They was like, we need boy, that dude is end of season 4. He was. Think about this stat as we get to a break. JJ, according to Pro Football Focus, who is not the gospel, right?
But they do have some good stuff.
They have some good stuff, but I like to check it with. I like you. You're my source.
So the thing about Pro Football Focus is, I've used this for stuff on like my games. I watch the film and get my own idea first, right? And I'm like, okay, he's special, and then you go check him out. I was like, oh, that matches what I just saw with my own eyes, right? So it's more of a check your work thing. I don't go there first and then check.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's how I do it too with you, with Vance, with Al. But on this one, it checks out. They had JJ as the #1 play action passer in the country last year.
Yeah, of course.
I think the rating was like 92.9.
Yeah, he was very, very good.
And he's even better.
Well, yeah.
Right now.
As he should be. Remember, I made it very clear. This is a much better team. First of all, you're the only quarterback coming back from the playoff. I mean, you shouldn't get worse, right? You're going to get better, right? He's a junior. He's not competing through camp, right? He's the guy, right? You're going to get better. Your running back comes back, everybody's going to get better. Everybody should get better. And it's no surprise. I'm not like surprised. And I don't even want to pat him on the back. Nah, he's supposed to get better. Even though he was already pretty good. I don't know how you get better from like 92, but hey, he should get better.
All right. So we'll get into JJ specifically. What you saw mechanically, what you saw with throwing on the run, what you saw with his decision-making. We'll get into that on the other side. But for now, we need to get to this break. Again, Devin's Appraisal with Devin Gardner, brought to you by Mark Orr at Lake Michigan Credit Union. Mark Orr, mortgage loan officer, Lake Michigan Credit Union, specializes in assisting healthcare and educational professionals. You can contact Mark at mark.orr@lmcu.org. That's Mark, MARK.ORR@lmcu.org to get pre-qualified.
Hey, I just got to text Mark Carmen. He raised the roof. That's what I'm talking about, Mark. Get it? Raise the roof.
Well,
Mark.
this Mark Orr. Man, we went look for a house a couple years ago. I wanted to look at it on a Sunday. I sent a message at like 9:00 Saturday night. It was like, I need to get qualified. Do you know it got it done in a couple hours? I was ready to go Sunday morning. That's service for you right there.
That's crazy.
Mark
when
Orr
I'm ready to go, when I'm ready to get my house, I'm gonna go ahead. But I'm not. I'm going too much. Just like I'm not about to cut no grass. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's where you big time. You get somebody to cut your grass for you. That's how you do it. I got to cut my own grass. I don't know about DG. Although I do remember a video on Devin Gardner in high school dancing. You were doing TikTok before TikTok happened, where you were dancing, cutting the grass at the same time.
I'm probably acting like Dave Chappelle. Remember Dave Chappelle?
I remember that. Yeah. Young Devin Gardner. We got to get to a break.
Let's not bring up old
That's on the other side here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, The Ticket. All right, let's get into some of these comments. Hey, by the way, folks, if you have questions for DG, you can start putting them in the comments right now, and we'll get to them in the last segment. If you have questions for DG, I'll put this in the chat right now. Get them in the comments. DG, they said, man, they want JJ wrapped in bubble wrap. What you talking about? Run against UNLV? Wrap him in bubble wrap right now.
Goofy.
You don't run him against
He's a football
meaningless
player.
opponents.
He's a football player. You don't get to wrap people in bubble wrap in football. Football for a reason. Violent. He's doing a good job protecting himself. I know that. But you on your end, you saying you don't want to have his legs, but that's why I want him to jump over him, so you don't get your legs chopped down. Get in the end zone.
All right.
That's a nice play, though. He's so fast. My goodness. I wish I was that fast.
Oh, he faster than you?
Yeah, he faster than me.
Really?
Yeah, he faster than me. I was terrified fast. He just fast like he don't got to be scared to be fast.
Devin, that's not fair. You're a lot older than him now.
Yeah.
Of course he's
like Denard. He don't need to be worried about somebody getting him to be fast. He's gonna be fast regardless.
All right, so let's get this out of the way. I don't want to get on it. This is the first question. Sam, Devin, what's your read on K's comments Saturday? Did you see what he said?
They scored 20 points. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
He said he's not used to his defense scoring points.
Well, they had to score points because he only threw for 123 yards against Iowa State, who was one of the worst football teams in America, and they lost their quarterback because he was gambling. You was in a dogfight with them. Why is he doing that? Well, he just let it go. And that's goofy because we know that the Michigan defense, it was a big part of the reason why they were so good when he was the quarterback. Scoring touchdowns, interceptions, touchdowns, all these different things. Why do he not just let it go? He making us talk about him and his ineptitude. And I was looking around like, oh my God, we got the same guy from last year, basically.
Ira, one of his questions was, what did you say? Will they average 25 points a game?
That's the whole thing is they have to average.
They have to average or the coach's son gets fired.
And win 7 games. Now they have to average, I believe it's 25.6 points per game.
These games, Ira.
Yeah, they need to average 25.6 points per game the rest of the year.
So now against real football teams, you gotta try to score 25 plus. When you know that's not gonna happen. Why are you doing that, man? And not to mention, he didn't even score 20. They had a pick 6. You know what I mean?
I said no. Didn't I say they wouldn't?
You did say
I did say they wouldn't.
No, that's obvious. I mean, right? And you know it's crazy. If they had a dynamic quarterback, though, they got good players. I think they have really good players. So, I mean, I don't know.
All right.
But you just got to let it go. You a Big Ten championship quarterback, and Fox even called him a legend. So you just let that go. Let it go. You're a legend in Michigan history. Great. You play for Iowa now, though, but, just play for Iowa.
He's trying to tarnish it is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, so,
jeez. All right, we got that out the way. My goodness. He will not stop.
Hey, you look around college football, man. We talked about Colorado. Well, you look around, man. You see some other squads really starting to show. I mean, what you buy in Ohio State, kind of solving their quarterback. I
think Devin Brown's the guy.
Even after Kyle McCord actually gets the ball to Marvin Harris,
he's wide open. He played Youngstown. What are you talking about? Come on, man.
Sam, Indiana week 1.
Sam, he couldn't do nothing. Exactly. He played Indiana week 1. He couldn't do nothing. Youngstown, like Indiana would beat Youngstown by 35.
Back, guys. Stand by.
Is what I'm saying. But Sam, I'm just telling you, 4 weeks, if you go to Ohio State and just work out, you would have hit him in that game. No.
Stand by. Back in 5, 4, 3.
And we are back, folks, here on the Michigan Insider Sports Talk 1050 WTKA online at WTKA.com. Who is the last Bears QB to beat the Packers twice in a season? Jim Harbaugh. I just saw that. I got to credit ESPN on that. Jim Harbaugh, the last Packers quarterback to beat them twice in the season.
Packers?
Bears quarterback. Bears quarterback to beat the Packers twice in the season. Jim Harbaugh? It's been that long?
Yeah,
Did I tell you?
I ain't going to be Justin Fields anytime soon.
Until they get a new quarterback, it's going to be a lot longer.
Man, where is all that Justin Fields hype coming from? Like they talk about him like he's going to be the next Lamar. Some of these people, I'm like, man, what have y'all been watching?
He's not as good a runner as Lamar. He's fast, but he's not as good a runner. Like Lamar is an outstanding runner. Is like the way he runs. On top of him being fast, I don't think he's not a slouch. Like Justin Fields not a slouch, but he's not that. Like you can't take him and just run Q power for a whole game like you can with Lamar. You know what I mean? I don't know why it's coming, but
man, they've been talking that noise in all season.
I think they should have like really dumbed it down just so you can sneak in and then under promise over produce kind of. But they just went super promise, and then it's like, because remember with Love, it was like we don't expect nothing. Like he a bum. Overproduced, and I don't think his game was great, but it looked great. It looked great based off of what you expected. You he probably gonna lose. They were supposed to lose that game. So now you're looking at Love like, oh, maybe he is good. I mean, Aaron Rodgers did the same thing. He waited 3 years. We didn't think much of him. maybe he's the next Aaron Rodgers.
Or
he got some skills.
Maybe he just played against
He did.
He just played against a Justin Fields.
But the Bears defense is supposed to be good though, too. Hey,
man.
You know,
they can only do so much.
Just under promise, over produce, guys. Let's stop. Like, you know, don't everybody ain't Deion. Okay.
Now, one of those is also a pick six. So, like Cade, you know, Jordan Love can get used to his defense scoring points.
So that's a great segue, Ira, because that play, he's flush. He kind of navigates the pocket and doesn't see the field. Does not see the field and throws a pick six. Compare and contrast that with JJ McCarthy, which we're about to do. It's time for the driving force update with Golden Limousine International at the wheel and Devin on the mic. Whether on the field or riding in a Golden Limousine vehicle, it is always about the quality of the drive. And it's time for the driving force update right now from Devin Gardner, where we look at JJ's performance specifically. So as you break them down, and that's the biggest difference in JJ McCarthy this year isn't how efficient a quarterback or a play action passer he is. It's his ability to extend plays, keep his head downfield, and make plays on the run. He is doing that at an especially high level this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to put it out there that for people that can see me, I am not one of the drivers of the limousine. I know my hat can confuse you just a little bit, and it seems like I might be driving those limousines. I am not. I'm only the rider. But I digressed. JJ has done an outstanding job. Because as a high school kid, and you remember him, he was so creative, right? I don't want to call him Patrick Mahomes, right? But he was super creative in that way of moving around, making plays, the confidence to make the plays. Obviously, when you got talent, you try some things other people can't try, right? He was doing that. But last year, we didn't see it as much, right? We saw glimpses of it. And remember, his first explosive play on the scene 2 years ago is when he runs to the outside of the number and then throw it way across. But we hadn't seen a bunch of that since that play, really. And it's because obviously you're in a competition, right? They're trying to take your stinger away a little bit, and you're almost yourself. And I can identify with this. Take your own stinger away, right? Because it's like you make mistakes in practice, you don't get the job, right? You can't risk doing all those fancy things because now it's another guy that's just being extremely safe and he's gonna get the job, right? So you kind of lose the feel for doing that. But then you get into a off season where you're the guy. Now you can throw 4 picks in practice and you're still not going to be replaced. Period. You're not. Who you going to replace me with? Right. So obviously he's not doing that. But I'm just saying, right? So you got the freedom to really test the limits of your skills, right? Like Goku, right? Goku and Dragon Ball Z. You can just test yourself. You can go to King Kai and see what you got. You know what I mean? And I think that he's done that. And it's really translated into the games where I love the ball. I mean, obviously he wasn't a fumble in the pocket guy, but the ball security while he's doing it, right? 2 hands, knowing when guys are around, making sure and keeping his eyes downfield, and then pinpoint accuracy after movement, right? That's hard to do, man, especially when you're a super explosive athlete. Pinpoint accuracy after movement, right? Movement, I'm talking about climbing the pocket, run this way, hips turn the wrong way, flip our hips and throw, or moving on the run, making throws, right? Obviously, you can do it. Like Sam can probably go out on the run with nobody chasing whatever and throw to a guy and it's accurate, but is it going to be pinpoint accurate? Where I need it on that right shoulder pass so he can catch it and keep running, or I need it on that back shoulder pass so he can stop and turn up the field and different things like that. And so it was super impressive. It's been super impressive these last 2 weeks to see the development of his feet, getting his shoulders and hips in line always. His head is very important, and everybody's probably thinking like, what do you mean? What is his head important? I love when the TV copy gives you these visuals of his head, like of the throw, where they kind of focus on him as the thrower, not really looking at the route, and you can watch his head as it happens. When you're a thrower, and for accuracy, you do not want your head moving from side to side. Also, you don't want your eyes looking at the ball, right? You want to stay focused on your target the entire time with your head nice and steady, as if I explain it to kids as an action figure, right? You know, I work with a lot of kids, 8-year-old. How am I going to explain this to him of how I want him to do this? Well, an action figure, the body can swivel all at once, but the head stays nice and steady, right? And so he's done a very good job of being that action figure, head perfectly steady, body doing what it needs to do, right? Obviously starts with your feet, striking the ground, hips coming through, rotating to the shoulder, but the head is stuck, right, in the position that it needs to be, focused on his target. And I think that's improvement from a year ago, because on some of his deep balls a year ago, and we kind of outlined it, where his head, remember, your head is heavy, right? Not just his, you know, it's not like he got a big head, but his head is kind of big. I don't know. My head's pretty big. Everybody got a big head a little bit, right? But your head, weighs, I forgot the weight, but when it falls, it doubles. Right. So when you have that head go to the side on the radio, you can't see me right now, but I'm just leaning my head over. You lean that heavy head over, the weight of it doubles. Right. So now you got your body in that kind of slanted angle. And we talked about it last year, instead of vertical, the way you want it to be, where you're most powerful and you can be most accurate. And so I haven't seen him on that leaning scale. And remember, I learned this from Tom House, and he worked with Tom House. This, you know what I mean? And so Tom House came here, worked with him. He went out to San Diego. And so you're seeing a lot of those dividends being paid. But you can teach somebody all you want, because Tom House worked with a lot of guys. I've worked with a lot of guys. It's on the person, right? Because I can teach you this, but now you got to go hammer it, work it. Like this one time going with Tom House, or 2 times him coming here, that's not going to get you to be able to do it. So even though Tom House is somebody that helped, even though I'm a guy that's helped many guys, it's up to the player, and they deserve the credit. Right. So he deserves the credit for taking that information and applying it to his game and the way he throws and different things like that. And like I said, it's paying great dividends, although be it against lesser competition. But the fact that he's able to do it now, when the fire gets hot, and we know that's coming. Yeah, I think he's going. I've been the guy on the table from the start. So I believe that he 100% will be able to translate all the things he's able to do as far as technique. Because, you know, when the fire gets hot, you usually go back to what you know. But I think he's worked it enough that it's a part of him now, and his technique will stay the same. Right. But I do understand someone or some people that may be skeptical, and I empathize with that. And you have a right to be skeptical, because when the fire gets hot, you go back to what you know. Right. And so we don't know how many reps he's put in. I don't know how many reps he's put in, but judging by him and his character, his football character, he's put in a ton of reps. I know it. He's not going to get this outstanding, or he's smart. I get this great information, I'm not going to use it. That's crazy. Yeah. Right. So I'm sure he worked at it ad nauseum, and I believe it's a part of him, but I do understand people that could be skeptical.
Well, I don't. Let me take a couple.
That's because you're a homer. I'm objective.
Let me take a couple of examples.
Here we go.
No, not questions. That's next. But a couple of examples to put in a nutshell what you just laid out about JJ McCarthy.
It was a mouthful. I know, man. I be going so far.
Oh, you do, but they love that. Yeah, all right. So you talked about him being a guy. You can't replace me. I go out there and
let's make clear, he don't got that attitude.
He does not have that attitude. But I'm giving you an example where exactly the responsibility that you say he's playing with was on display. It's the first play of the game. It was a play action flood, right? It's UNLV, first series of the game. I'm on fire throwing it downfield. I could just throw it up down the field to make it happen. Mm-hmm. Checks it down to Blake Corum. And Blake runs for 20 yards, right? Showing you right there that, I'm not trying to go for the gusto every single time.
I'm not trying to bully UNLV. I'm playing real football.
Right there, right? But he's the other side of it. I'm not Mr. Checkdown.
So no, he's definitely not check down Charlie.
That's definitely not. Yeah. He's thinking chunk, then check. Is what I said. Chunk, then check.
I like that. Did you make that up?
I made that up. Nice. You like that up.
I like that. Chunk, then check.
Chunk, then check.
I'm putting that on TV this week. You got to go chunk, then check. I don't want to see you just dropping back, checking the ball down. We went over that, how we had quarterbacks that used to do that.
So I'm giving you an example. Let's talk about JJ on daggers, right? So one
of my favorite concepts.
One of your favorite concepts. And I remember you being like, this is that guy. Did you see him throw the post on the dagger?
Which you never throw.
I remember vividly you said you did. And this dude threw it for a touchdown like early in the season, right? But where you want to go, the play is designed to go is to the dig.
Of course.
It's to the dig. How many times over the course of our Monday morning quarterbackdom did we see Diggs be checked down against zone? It was so often that it was a talking point on the show. Didn't we see that all the time?
No, you're talking about not even throwing the dig, checking it down to the back.
Yeah.
Just so you know. No, we're going to use the dig and the clear out as like maybe don't ever throw it, and we're going to throw the check down first. Like drop back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, check down. That's not how it should be. You're right. We did see that quite a bit. And that's probably why. Never mind. Go ahead. That's probably what the defense had to go. Okay, no, go ahead.
So I really wasn't trying to go on that tangent. But my point is, go watch JJ throw daggers in this game. See how on point he was hitting that dig.
Over the linebacker, under the safety. Yeah.
Every time.
With great talent, arm talent. That's good. It was really good. I love throwing digs. Like if you go to a Young Go-Getters workout, we throw a lot of digs, man. I'm just telling you, because if you can work the middle of the field, the outside, we gonna get to the outside. But if you can work that middle of the field, right, it's dangerous. It's damning for a defense, right? Because if you can have arm talent to get the ball above linebackers and before safeties, or if you got split safeties covered too, you can get the ball down the middle of the field. Defenses do not like that. Like, that's not a good thing for them. And so if you can have the arm talent to do that, it's great. It's amazing for your offense. And JJ, like you said, and they had another concept that I love. It's knife, right? And knife is when you got a guy maybe in the slot or whatever. He gets vertical on the linebacker. He kind of hooks up, and then he bursts out, right? So it's called a hitch swirl, right? So he does a hitch, and then he runs away. And that just entices the linebacker to go with him, and then the dig comes behind it. So same principle. You're just trying to get people out of the way so you can throw a dig. They ran one of those, and we'll diagram it when we do the film study, but they ran one of those. Me and JJ are so similar. I mean, man, we're so similar. We like a lot of the same stuff. But he hit it above the linebacker and before the safety. And so I think you're exactly right. He's got some arm talent and throwing those digs. We didn't get a chance to see it much. And we saw guys running wide open, which I love well, we did have the film back then. Remember, we had the full film. And as much as we kind of showed, hey, you got a bigger play here, this is whatever, it was way more than we showed, to be clear. At one point, we should maybe go back and just go over all the times where guys were wide open. Not like wide open 65 yards down the field. I'm talking about 15-yard get wide open. And we throw it to the back off of a hitch, like one hitch, like hitch back. Like the back is really supposed to still be in protection, but the line was so good that he got out a little early. Just throw it right to the back. That's not how football should be played. But I love the fact that JJ, like you said, he's chunked in check, but he's getting to that check down when he needs to. And we're going to feature a couple plays this week. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's good football. It's not super sexy or anything like that, but it's good football. But also, we got the chunks. Chunked in check.
Chunked in check, man.
You better trademark that. I'm going to steal it. I already stole it.
You my brother, man. You my brother.
I stole it.
I share with you. All right, folks. We're going to give you an opportunity to ask questions from DG, right? So we'll do that on the other side. This was the Driving Force Update with our friends, brought to you by our friends from Golden Limousine International. Again, at the wheel and Devin on the mic. It's a great combination, whether on the field or riding in a Golden Limousine vehicle. It is always about the quality of the drive. They got me to the game week 1. They get me to the airport when I got to go. When my family went to Paris and Rome.
That's wild.
We went on a golden limo bus to the airport, all that luggage. Took one of their sprinters. And when we got off the airport and got out the plane and baggage claim, the airport in Paris and Rome, there were golden limousine vehicles.
That's wild.
Waiting for us.
I can't wait to go somewhere. That's my pet peeve. Like, I can't go nowhere because I'm like, how am I going to transport? Like, I don't like all this. But now that
contact. You call Golden or contact Golden one time about this is my trip, and they'll get your travel accommodation set for you the rest of the way. I'm talking about when it comes to on the road transportation. So telling you can't beat it. And Golden Limo, responsible for the Driving Force Update. We got to get to a break, get some questions for DG from the people on the other side here on the Monday Morning Quarterback, brought to you by our friends at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. Back on the other side.
Monday Morning Quarterback Devin Gardner, brought to you by Grand Traverse Resort and Spa on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA. The Ticket. Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, where it's fairways, not freeways. Book your vacation at grandtraverseresort.com.
Devin, what UNLV's quarterback was dealing with the first half made me think of you. He was running for his life, is what I'm talking about.
Well,
not skill set.
Yeah, well, obviously that goes without saying. But hey, man, I used to be running for my life. Nobody appreciated it. It's all good. It's all good. I was just trying to survive. Still got bad knees now because of it. It's ridiculous. But
yeah. Let's keep going. Hey, Sam, Devin, any big concerns about the backup quarterback situation, or is it just keep JJ upright? First of all, whoever, if it's the thought, right? You don't want to have to deal with it. They're in trouble from a national championship contention standpoint without JJ. I mean,
I think the backup will eventually be Tuttle. Some things had gone down, and whatever. I think Tuttle will be the backup, and I think he'd be serviceable. But like Sam said, I think the national championship outlook is very bleak without that dynamic quarterback.
Yeah, they'll win 10 games.
Oh, 100%.
But championship? I don't see it. Moving on. Some of these other questions in there.
I've heard Jaden Denigal has been really good too, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, you see him wearing the number 4. Harbaugh ain't just giving out that 4. Nah.
This one says you can tell JJ mature because he go through his reads, then quickly check down to an outlet. He's done it several times instead of just forcing it. Very Brady-esque. But
yeah, it's having a plan, right?
Yeah.
When you have a plan and you know where your guys are supposed to be and you see the defense and everything, that's just a difference. And then having the footwork to match it, right? I mean, he's a lot of credit to Kirk Campbell, who's doing a very good job. And I made it very clear that this is what you would see because of Kirk Campbell in the spring game, I'm sure, when people watch. But I mean, to see it come to fruition is really cool.
How big is that vibe with the quarterback coach? How big is that?
Well, JJ likes him, first of all. He likes him. He respects him. He thinks he's a really good coach. And when an athlete sees improvement, when you've coached him up on something, he's desperate for more. The good athlete, the ones that are going to be great, desperate for more. Please help me. Please continue to give me everything you have. And I think that's the kind of guy JJ is, and that's why he's taking these quantum leaps.
He said, did you miss the Mel Tucker segment? I don't know that they want to hear you talk about Mel Tucker, man.
Nah, I'm out on that. I can't even do the Mel Tucker, man.
We gotta let DG have some time to get his thoughts squared away for radio.
Oh,
right?
Man.
I mean, maybe we'll get into it
once
on Dropping Dimes.
Once me and you get on HBO,
yeah,
we'll be good.
We'll get into it on Dropping Dimes.
Nah, I don't know, man.
That's something we gotta talk about before we talk about it on the air.
Oh, lordy, that's a lot.
All right, Nebraska
back on radio in about 30 seconds.
All right. So Nebraska has no chance. Minnesota has no chance. Michigan State is what it is. The threat is Rutgers. The guy said he thinks Rutgers is going to be a fight. You buy that?
Nah, I don't buy that. Sell. I mean, I'm sure it'll be, they're a good team and all that. And Shiano's a really good coach, but come on, man. Rutgers?
It was a dogfight last time they were here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Different quarterback.
Very true. Stand by, guys. Coming back on radio.
Who was the quarterback?
It wasn't JJ.
Okay.
And we are back, folks, here on the Michigan Insider Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. Monday morning quarterback, brought to you by Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. And what did you call this segment, Ira?
MMQ&A.
MMQ&A.
And we got 9 minutes. We're going to get 9 questions. Here we go.
9 questions.
Good luck with that, Devin.
Here we go.
All right. So, Penn State is the big question, I think, even more so than Ohio State. What say you?
I think so. Drew Allar is an outstanding quarterback. Had him at the Elite 11, and I picked him to win Elite 11 when I got a chance to look through his film and all those different things. Big, strong, can make all the off-platform throws, and not as dynamic as a runner as our guy, but he can move and make plays. And so when you have a guy like that who can do all those things, he always will be a threat. And obviously Penn State has had the athletes and recruiting and all those different things, and their defense is going to be good. The King twins making big plays.
Yeah, that was from B. Phillips 4GG, so I want to give you a shout out there. This one comes from The New Life on YouTube, and he asks, how much are we holding back on offense? Are we keeping it all pretty basic in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fact. And Sam checked his work and said, and the coaches that said there's more to come. But you had to know that, right? We haven't seen much intricacy in the passing concepts. We've seen a bunch of smash from different ways of running it. But those are things that you also run when you're late in the season as well, right? So it's not like they're running things that they won't run. You still run basic things, but there are more complexities. And when you run the complexities, it allows for the basic stuff to be open even more, right? Because now you get these teams thinking, and I think they are holding a lot back with the RPO, and we've outlined a lot of it. But that more to come, just more to come.
All right, let's get to this is a good one. Hold on. This is from John A. Schultz. He said, Day took McCord over JJ and Devin Brown over Drew Aller. So much for being QB guru. But to get into the question, how much of a backdrop is that going to be? You think every Michigan guy takes Ohio State personally, but the guy that you're likely to face.
JJ took it personally last year. Yeah. So first of all, he took it personally last year before McCord was in there, right? That was very clear. right? And remember, I think he threw a touchdown or handed off something, and he stared Day down. People don't remember that, or they probably never saw it, but he stared Day down from across the field. So I think that now that you have the guy who you chose, the actual guy you chose over me is going to be the quarterback. It's going to be tough for him. But Allard is a little different though. He's not wired in that way. He got some attitude to him, but he's not. I don't think he's the guy that takes things personal like that. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be. I mean, I think they're just a better team, Penn State, right now. Unless some quantum leap happens with the quarterback position at Ohio State.
Yeah, man. You know, someone said after the game, like, man, yeah, they found Marvin Harrison, but they still didn't run the football.
He was wide open.
Right. And so, case in point, you make the great point, but I think that's just not running the football. Just is not who Ryan Day is
against Youngstown.
Even against Youngstown.
That's what I'm saying.
That's kind of the point, though.
It's weird that, Michigan plays a bad team, dominates, does what it's supposed to do, and it's like, oh, but that's that team. But Ohio State, who was terrible against Indiana, who ain't that good, and then they dominate Youngstown, who ain't even going to place in the MAC. And you're talking about, oh, yeah, they found their answers. Like, come on, man, let them play another game or something.
All right, here's one from Closed Al. There's a rumor JJ has the potential to be the number one pick in the draft. Do you agree? Most of pundits are saying Caleb Williams.
No, he won't be the number one pick in the draft because Caleb Williams got too far of a head start on him. There's no way he can catch him, I don't think, unless Caleb Williams starts just being ridiculously bad, which I don't see happening because Caleb Williams is a powerful running back that's an outstanding thrower as well. But JJ is not much less of a player than Caleb Williams, and I think he's going to have the opportunity to be on the same stage at some point, and he's going to be able to show him up. But I think the head start and Caleb Williams doing it for much longer is not going to allow JJ to be the number one pick. But he can be the second quarterback off that board, and we can't forget about Shedeur Sanders too. He's a junior, right? So that's three guys, and then the guy in North Carolina who
Drake May.
He better start really making something shake because three guys right now, JJ, Shedeur Sanders, and Caleb Williams are playing much better football than he is right now.
All right. Here's one from Gaming for You on YouTube. What is the biggest thing you've seen that jumps out to you that is next level for this team? How is that going to make a difference this year?
I don't understand that question. What is the biggest thing you've seen that jumps out that's next level? I mean, I guess the answer would be the attention to detail from the quarterback position. And it seems like a small thing. We talk about this and it's kind of like, oh, ho hum, like, oh, he's supposed to do that. But I watch so much quarterback throughout the year and on TV and on film and all this. And it's a lot of bad quarterback play out there. Feet in the wrong place, eyes not, you don't know where you're going with the ball. You clearly don't have a plan. And all those things that you want from a good quarterback, the quarterback at the University of Michigan is doing it, right? And so I think that is because last year, like we talked about, he's just super talented. And we outlined where he could be better in different things. And it's like he fixed every single thing that we thought that he could work on, and he's now putting it on display. So I think the quarterback's development, even though he was really good last year, let's not be confused. He was good last year. I think the development of the quarterback is amazing, right? I mean, I think that's the thing.
All right, let's get this one in. Do you think Edwards, meaning Donovan Edwards, will volunteer for lining up as slot to get more touches? They actually put him in the slot.
I was going to say he lines up as slot quite a bit, right? I mean, he's another weapon. And the thing is he doesn't have any ego in it, right? There's no ego in it. Obviously, he wants the ball. He wants to run the ball. He wants to catch the ball. But lined up in the slot is an advantage for the entire offense. And Harbaugh's made it very clear. He's about winning, right? No matter what happens, no matter who gets it, no matter who does it, it's about winning. That's it, period, right? And so if Donovan Edwards, obviously, I know this for a fact, he will not be that guy. But if he were to turn into the guy like, man, I want my touches, all that, he'll be removed. Right, like that. That's not how they work in that program. And so, but I think that him playing slot, not as a full-time gig, but playing it a lot is something natural that was going to happen. Whether JJ took the quantum leap or not, because he's a weapon at that position. And when you got two backs on the field and maybe two tight ends, it's a different personnel you see over there. So you got linebackers trying to cover this running back who's an outstanding receiver, right? So it's about mismatches, and he creates a great mismatch when he's playing in the slot.
Yeah. So a couple of things to clear up. They have some progress. There needs to be more progress up front in the run game. I'm talking about offensive line, still gelling as a unit. That's number one. Number two, touches have been fairly balanced over the first two games. Blake Corum has 30 touches. Donovan has 27 touches. So
that's almost how it should be, right?
Yeah.
Like the elder guy
but it's fairly even.
Yeah, it's even, but he should have 2 more carries or 2 more touches.
Yeah,
because he's the old head. He came back. He's an outstanding player. It's not like we got like a situation where the starter is a slouch. And it's like, we got this young stud. It's like, no, he was going to win the Heisman last year.
Yeah.
Had he not gotten hurt. And then this young stud, too, now. He nice, too. So it should be about 27-30. I like that.
Yeah, so I think they've only played 3 quarters, both games.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the other thing. They'll play 4 quarters. There'll be more touches.
But the thing is, you're going to have to split some of them touches with JJ, too, in the running game.
Right. So you make a great point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors here. There are fewer plays because of the new clock rules. JJ's going to get some more touches.
The new clock rule is the real problem. And I think it's good because you get the games going a little faster.
JJ's going to get more. JJ's going to get some of those touches. And then these guys got to work. They got to get into a rhythm too, Blake and Donovan. If there's one thing that I wonder if they'll scheme is, can you scheme rhythm? Because, with Blake, you have the luxury of he gets back-to-back carries. So will they scheme instances plan instances where, okay, we're going to make sure Donovan gets a few touches or carries in a row.
I think he's a little more dynamic and explosive in a way of he doesn't need rhythm to be successful.
That may be true.
I think Donovan is the type of explosive generational type of athlete where you don't need a whole bunch of carries in a row for him to be dominant and explosive and the way he, contributes to the victory, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it might be much ado about nothing. We'll see as they get deeper. This is the last one. Got to be real quick. This one from David.
How many questions have we got?
I don't know, not 9. David Van Reenen. Okay, maybe we did. Yeah. Says Notre Dame will beat Ohio State soundly. Do you agree, Devin?
I do agree. I think that this is going to be the first test, and I think McCord is going to get in the atmosphere against a team that's so good, talented on defense, talented on offense, and they have a competent quarterback who I think is a pretty good player. So I don't know about handily and all that, but I think that they will lose against Notre Dame.
All right, folks. Be sure to check out
How many questions was that?
It might have been 9 Monday morning quarterback film study. We're going to go record that right now. That's going to do it for us here today. On the way out, though, if you want to join us inside of the Bud Light Victor's Lounge over in Joe's Garage, all you got to do, that's right, we're going to do 2. So caller number 7 and caller number 11, you'll join us for the KeyBank Countdown on Kickoff inside the Bud Light Victor's Lounge this weekend leading up to the Bowling Green game. Caller number 7, caller number 11 is 734-998-1050.